Test 1 2. ask everyone to please check your cell phones. Please make sure your cell phones are either off or on vibrate. Like any service, I make this announcement and someone still has their cell phone on. So please double check your cell phones and make sure that they're on vibrate or that they're off. You're only allowed to have your phone ring if it's a creative ringtone. If it is not, then we're going to get very upset. Just kidding. So please check your cell phones. Thank you for checking the phones. I'm Rabbi Keller, rabbi here at Congregation B'nai Israel, and I know I speak on behalf of the entire family that I thank you for being here this morning, here as we collectively and as a community say goodbye to Toby. Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid ki mimeni bal emot. לכן שמח ליבי והרגל כבודי, אף בשרי ישכון לבטח. I have set the eternal always before me. God is at my side. I shall not be moved. Therefore does my heart exult and my soul rejoice. My being is secure. For you will not abandon me to death, nor let your faithful ones see destruction. You show me the path of life. Your presence brings fullness of joy, enduring happiness is your gift, says Psalm 16. In Judaism, as many of you know, we don't have a magic wand or an incantation or a potion that we can take that somehow takes away the pain of loss. We don't have that. It'd be incredible if we did. What we do have, though, as a Jewish community is this: one another, people showing up, people being present, people providing hugs and kisses and stories and food and food and food. And so the love and the support and the affection and the community that we'll build together for Toby's family is in this moment now, and it gets even more important tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, when it gets a little more difficult and a little bit harder, and all the hustle bustle and the details maybe are gone away. That's also when we must be present. So thank you for your presence in this moment, and thank you for your presence moving forward also with your love and affection and kugel. Death has taken our beloved Toby. Our friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence, there is lamentation. In their tears, there's loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, be with them. For Toby's love that united us in life and which death cannot sever, for her companionship that we shared along life's path and which continues through the tenderness of memory, for the gifts of her heart and mind that brought us joy and happiness and is now a precious remembrance. For all these and more, we give our thanks to God. In this time of grief, we listen to the voice of our sacred scriptures that bring us the ever-new message of God's nearness. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. Asher האיש אשר לא הלך בעצת רשעים ובדרך חטאים לא עמד. Happy are those who have not followed in the counsel of the wicked, or taken the path of sinners, or joined the company of the insolent. Rather, the teaching of God is their delight, and they study that teaching day and night. They are like a tree planted beside streams of water that yields its fruit in season, whose foliage never fades, and whose fruit always flourishes, says Psalm number 1. Adonai ro'i lo echsar, binot deshe yarbitzeni yamei menuchot yinahaleni nafshi shovav, enche maglei tzedek lema'an shemo. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Esa enai el heharim, me'ain me'ain yavo ezri. Esa enai el heharim, me'ain me'ain yavo ezri. I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. You see, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian. God is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. God will guard you from all harm. God will guard your soul, your going and coming, now and forever. And now words from Ecclesiastes, probably written by King Solomon himself and made famous by the birds. L'kol zman ve'et l'chol chefetz tachat hashamayim, et laledet ve'et lamut, et lata'at ve'et la'kor natua. For everything there is a season, a time for every experience under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. And so now we'll have some people coming up here and sharing some words with us. First Jeff, then Hillary and Katie, then Marissa, then Elaine Abrams, then Russell, and then Dawn.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for coming here to honor my mom. The rabbi asked me to be short, so I will be short and hopefully sweet. I want to tell a few things about my mom you may know and a few you may not know. Santa Claus was involved with her birth on December 25th, 1938. She got her huge heart and tremendous generosity from her father, Herb. Herb was like Santa Claus for his children, his grandchildren, and sometimes other people's lucky children. Mom got her good looks and height from her mother, Pearl. Pearl at 5'9" was so pretty she even did some modeling before Herb made her his queen. Mom was born in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, before it was chic to live in Williamsburg. Mom was always upbeat and extremely positive, even after she received the devastating news that she had pancreatic cancer. When she was young, she would always put her children first as the center of her universe. That was until her grandchildren, and then we got subordinated. They were on the top of the stack until the great-grandchildren came, and they became the top of the stack. The family cap table was clear and straightforward. Parker, you're not here, but here's your first corporate finance lesson. Think of it this way. You're the senior secured debt, Marissa and Dylan are the convertible debt, and your mom and your uncles are the common equity. My mom was a very passionate and committed tennis player, taking pride on playing on her club's A team. She had a great slice backhand. She would run around her forehand to hit as many backhands as possible. Imagine my relative wanting to hit backhands. Anyway, my mother loved to shop for herself and buy gifts for her family and everyone around her. She was so active, she was named Home Shopping Network Shopper of the Year in 2021 and 23, and Rule of Law MVP in 2023 and 24. Mom, we will miss you, your kindness, your warmth, your generosity, your genuine good nature. Everyone, you go home, if you want to remember her, just Google altruist. Thank you.
Sorry. My grandma was an exceptional woman who lived an exceptional life. She was always so positive and confident in who she was. She liked what she liked, and that was that. She made a decision, and she never looked back. Every choice she made was the right one, and everything she had was the best, which I admired so much about her. She was always happy and taught me how to find joy in everything, even if I couldn't see it. Grandma Toby was bold. She was bold in her decision-making. She was bold in her outfit choices. Her red was her signature color. Bold in her opinions. She always told the truth, something else that I really loved about her. And bold in the love she had for her family. She loved her husband and kids, but she loved her grandkids more and her great-grandkids the most. My oldest daughter, Juliet, loves to be fancy. And almost every week we'd get an outfit or a costume, which is what I would tell Juliet, from Gilt or Rue La La. It was usually a brightly colored dress covered in pom-poms, sequin, lace, or all of the above. Of course, Juliet loved it and I hated it. And Grandma knew that I hated it, but she sent them anyway because she knew that Juliet loved them. She also loved her great-grandsons, Jack and Parker, who she also bought clothes for, except they were much more acceptable and could be worn in public. And she loved her newest great-granddaughter, my daughter Stella. I really believe that God sent us all Stella to brighten the last couple months we had with her. She loved holding her and burping her, and she was a really good burper. The best I've ever seen. And in her final days, she got so much joy lying quietly in bed with her. Grandma, you taught me so much about how to always be happy and positive and to love unconditionally. She reassured me that she lived a long, happy, beautiful life, and she promised me that as sad as I am, and it will be, that it's going to be okay because I have a big, beautiful family to hold on to. So today, I'm giving them and everyone who came here to celebrate her life an extra squeeze. Grams, we love you and we'll miss you every day.
Hey everyone, I'm Katie. I'm Toby's first is the worst, second is the best, third is the one with the hairy chest, granddaughter.
All right, Dylan.
Yeah. But we used to always say that we were more than just grandmother and granddaughter. Toby was truly one of my closest friends, especially over the last few years. Grandma became a trusty confidant, a resourceful therapist, a source of undue self-esteem, and a nightly companion as I did the dishes, folded my laundry, drove home, or just sat on the couch with her. She could always make me smile and laugh, even on my toughest days, usually with the line like, "Well, fuck that, just go have sex," or, or "What do I know, I'm just an old kook." While I knew I could count on her to say some silly out-of-pocket comments, I also knew I could trust her to be honest, wise, and authentically herself. I've always lived up to her give no fucks attitude and her ability to know what she loves and hold true to that. Grandma, I hope I keep getting more and more like you each day in that way. It's hard to think about a world where you're not a call or a text away. How's the AT&T service from heaven? You owe me one last FaceTime. Grandma, thank you for loving me fully, unconditionally, and wholeheartedly, even when I returned that really ugly necklace you bought me. Thank you. Thank you for always sending me thoughtful QVC and HSN presents. I'm sorry that I lied so many times about loving them. Thank you for doing everything you could to keep our family close and respectful. I know it was the thing you wanted most in your life. And thank you for being the bright, colorful, wild, fantastic woman you were. You've set such a beautiful example of strength, power, grace, and joy that I hope to be able to embody one day. You've left your mark on so many more people than you realize, and I promise to do my best to keep your legacy as the funk alive. Plus, we have your iconic voice on video, so I know we can always count on having you around. Love you, Gramps.
So, for those of you who don't know me, I am Hillary's husband. I've been around here for a while. I started dating Hillary back in college. And I'll just share a quick story, a unique story actually, that I had the pleasure to live with Toby and Steve for a month before marrying Hillary, which is a kind of an unusual thing, and I actually got to know Toby quite well in that month living together. So the backstory is where I work here in Boca happens to be right near where Toby and Steve live, and I had an apartment issue, and Toby graciously offered for me to move in with her and Steve. And so here I am in my mid-20s, not living with my parents, not living with my in-laws, living with my wife's grandparents. and I gotta say, she treated me like a grandson. So every morning before work, she offered me breakfast. She set me up with golf lessons. I met all of her friends at the club. I can't even remember everyone, but there were several people I met, and she truly treated me as if I were her grandson. So much so at the end of the month, I didn't actually want to move out. It was that great. All I had to do was pay rent in the form of Brendy's ice cream, and then I got to stay as long as I wanted to. But look, all jokes aside, you know, I've known Toby for a long, long time, and I just loved how she treated me like I was truly one of her own, and I'm so grateful to have known her for as long as I had, and you know, Hillary's love for her grandmother, it just radiates to me, and I hope that my grandkids one day can love their grandparents.
I'm Connor, Katie's husband. The first time I ever met Grandma Toby, she said, "Connor Donnelly, what are you, Irish? You're probably not even circumcised." And I said, "Well, I am, Grandma, that's not just a Jewish thing." And she said, "Well, if you're not, I'll take it in my moil. It's not such a big deal." So, needless to say, I felt really an instant connection and welcoming from Toby. Her spirit, her authenticity, her genuine interest in others, and her deep and unwavering love of her family and friends. Katie was actually on FaceTime the day that I met her with her grandma. And it was from afar, so I didn't know what was being said, but I knew that they were from New York and that they had a lot of personality. From the day that I met Katie, Grandma Toby and her FaceTimed probably every other night. And even as Grandma got sick, the conversation was never about her. It was always about others and interest in others' lives, especially her grandkids. And she never, until the end, ever complained. Toby soon would refer to me as her grandson or sometimes her boyfriend. And I soon referred to her as just Grandma. We love you, Grandma, and we're all blessed to have had you in our lives. Thanks, man.
I was told to keep it short, but my grandma never did what she was told, so I'm gonna follow in her footsteps just like she'd want me to do. Grammy, you weren't just my grandma. You were my best friend, my confidant, my biggest advocate, and one of the greatest blessings in my life. You were there for me in every moment, not just the big milestones like my bat mitzvah, birthdays, graduations, or my wedding, but in the small, everyday occasions that truly defined our relationship. I was lucky enough to grow up just around the corner from you, and that closeness shaped my life in ways I will always treasure. You picked me up from school, let me sleep over, cooked me meals, and reminded me every day just how much you loved me. How on earth did I get so lucky? You had a vibrant, positive, and strong-willed spirit that lit up every room you entered. You embraced life fully, finding joy in the everyday and love in every connection. I think about the countless dinners we shared at your house each week, every holiday we celebrated together, summer days by your pool, and our seasonal shopping sprees. We traveled together as a family from our cherished years in Acapulco to an unforgettable trip to Italy. Those were incredible experiences, but it wasn't just about the big things. It was the million little ones in between that made you such an irreplaceable part of my life. Even after you moved to Florida, we never missed a beat. I visited often, sometimes even once a month. And when I couldn't be there in person, we FaceTimed every day. Whether we were solving a problem, laughing over a funny story, or just chatting about how my day at work was, if you won $4 in cards, how my new house was coming along, our conversations were my anchor. You were my sounding board, my cheerleader, and the person I could always turn to for guidance, a pick-me-up, or just to feel connected. During my pregnancy, those calls became even more significant. I was sick, in pain, and overwhelmed, but you were always there. No matter how I felt, you lifted my spirits, calmed my fears, and made me smile. You had this incredible gift for turning any situation into something better. One of my greatest joys was seeing you with my baby boy, Parker. You adored him beyond words, and the feeling was mutual, even if our FaceTimes eventually became all about him. The happiness you brought into his life and the way you lit up whenever you saw him was truly something special. You embraced my husband with the same love, treating him not as a grandson-in-law, but as one of your own, and it's truly a gift I will forever be grateful for. You were the heart and soul of our family,
the matriarch who put us first, always. You made every person and each of your grandchildren feel adored, as though they were the most important in the world. You brought us together in a way only you could, making each of us feel loved and valued while reminding us the importance of family. You taught us so much, not just through your words, but the way you lived. You showed me how to be strong in difficult times, to find joy in the little things, to hold on to my sense of humor, and most importantly, to love without limits. Your honesty was legendary, definitely blunt, but you always spoke your truth, and that was something I could always count on. I'll miss hearing your thoughts, even when it was to tell me you hated my outfit or thought I needed more blonde in my hair. When you got sick 3 months ago, I didn't hesitate for a second. I picked up my family and moved to Florida because I couldn't bear to miss a single moment with you. It wasn't even a decision. It was an instinct. These last few months were a gift filled with more memories, more laughs, and the chance to show you the same love you gave me every day of my life. You are the most amazing woman in the world. You embraced your diagnosis with such peace and acceptance. You didn't complain once about your pain or declining state, and you turned every day possible into a party. You are so strong, and I admire you so much. Thank you for letting me be by your side until the very end. Grandma, I'm so grateful for everything you were to me. My second mom, my rock, and my greatest inspiration. The void you're leaving is immeasurable, but so is the love that you gave me. Thank you for always turning our everyday moments into special, belly-laughing memories that I can forever cherish. My heart aches, but it's also so full, overflowing with the love you poured into my life and the lessons you instilled in me. I will carry your spirit with me always, and I promise to live my life in a way that makes you proud. I love you more than words can ever express, and I will miss you every day until I see you again.
I'm speaking to you as a friend, and you heard so many words from Toby's family, but I'd like to share a few thoughts as a friend. Red was Toby's favorite color, and that is why I am wearing red today, to honor her memory. I think of her red car, her red clothes, her red iPhone cover, and I am told that she had red hair when she lived in New York. True? Toby knew the meaning of friendship. Toby showed her love by supporting her friends, by always asking how our children and grandchildren were doing. She was the first to give congratulations from her heart on all good news. Every time we were together for our well-known Sunday brunch, Toby would take out her red iPhone and show us photos of every single child, grandchild, and great-grandchild. She was so, so proud of all of you. And Toby was an example of caring and love for our friend Stephen. Toby was devoted to her family, who surrounded her with love during these trying days, and I felt that love also as I came to visit. There were so many jewels in Toby's life. Number one, her family and friends. And number two, her love for sparkly jewels. Toby and I had a very meaningful conversation just a few days ago, and I would like to share her words with you. She said, "I don't have time to say I am sorry to those who I may unknowingly hurt." And my response was, "Toby, those who know you have felt your love and caring. They have already forgiven you." So when I wear red or sparkly jewels, I will think of you, dear Toby. You will be missed by so many. Thank you.
Elaine, red tie. Rabbi Keller, thank you. Red tie. Thinking of Mom. No tie, but great photo, Dad. Oh, I don't have the sense of humor that the rest of my family has, but Mom, I love you. You impacted my life and our family's lives, as you've heard. And my mom recently told me she lived a beautiful life, and that's what I think most today. She had a life full of love. She had a big heart, as you've heard, for her husband, for her 6 grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, 6 children, 7 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren, for her friends, who she loved like family. I think this big heart is why she loved red so much. She set an example for all of us to follow. I think, Hillary, you talked about that. She was always positive. She never complained. If you asked her, or my dad, how they feel, it's always good, no matter how they really feel. And Dad, 65-year marriage on December 19th. She really loved you. She insisted on another ceremony on your 25th. If you remember, you renewed your vows, even though it's not a technical religious thing, but we copied you. So we also, on our 25th, did that. I think Michelle and I tried to copy you, Dad and Mom, in a lot of ways. She was really involved, as you heard, with her kids, her grandkids, her great-grandkids. She listened. She asked questions. She was really involved. Katie, I know she was always, FaceTiming pretty much every night, right? And she was always asking. She spoke to most of her grandchildren pretty much every day. It's interesting. When she was a young adult, she collected Art Deco. Later, as an older adult, it became photography. Elaine, you were talking about it. Photos of her family. I used to joke that she was a photoholic because she would basically request photos of the great-grandchildren every single day, and then, of course, shared them with everyone else. She was generous to a fault. Gifts to her family arrived weekly, to the great-grandchildren, maybe more than weekly. As you heard, sometimes they were a little eclectic. Like for our my Florida grandchildren, the girls matching baby snowsuits for Florida. Recently, she sent a doormat that said, "I'm a Matt." To my grandson, to my son-in-law, Matthew. Matt. That's a lot of Matts. But the Matt says, "I'm a Matt." Dad, her favorite place outside of Polo Club was Acapulco, where we vacation many times. Actually, it was there she introduced me to Michelle. It is true. My mother picked my wife for me 40 years ago. She was a great picker. Dad, she picked you. As I mentioned earlier, she always, and Dad, you too, set examples. She set examples as how she treated and loved her friends, her family. I want her friends to know how much she loved you guys, and she really considered you guys family. It was just a really special relationship all you guys had, and I know she was so appreciative of that relationship. My brother mentioned she loved tennis, and that's a passion that she taught to her children. And we all still play. I guess pickleball wasn't really the thing then, but we all still play tennis. You know, I think Mom and Dad, you guys were just great examples. You guys are examples that Michelle and I want to follow. Again, my mom's life, as she told me recently, really was a beautiful life. She continues to teach us how we can live a beautiful life. All of her family, all of her friends. Mom will miss you. Love you more.
When I think of my mother-in-law, Toby, sparkle comes to mind. Her warmth and personality was sparkly. Toby left an impression on her friends and her family and on so many people she brought into her life. I think it was a combination of her big heart, her generosity, and her gift for being genuine that created lasting connections. Her doctors, her hair colorists, her decorators, her movers, people that would ordinarily just pass through someone's life, recognized her sparkle and became a friend. But mostly Toby invested a lot of time and heart into her relationships with her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And in return, she had a very special and unique bond with each and every one of them. And anyone who knew Toby and her inner sparkle also loved the joy she got from her outer sparkle. She loved and appreciated beautiful, sparkly diamonds like no one else. And Steve, the love of her life, loved showering her in it. Toby, I know you will continue sparkling in the hearts of everyone who you love. You'll be missed.
I guess I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be to go last, which I did pick. Somehow or other, I got grout cleaner and a bug killer and cashmere sweaters only when they're on sale under $99. So I don't know. I was definitely my mother's daughter. And I did listen to the rabbi and make it super short because I didn't know if I'd be able to get through it. I'm sorry. My mom was and will always be my best friend. She was devoted, loving, warm, generous, bold, as we all know. Sometimes a little too bold. Vibrant, again, sometimes way too vibrant. Full of life and always felt lucky. She taught me to be like that. She lived her life to the fullest, and she taught me, most importantly, how to be a good mom and how to be an even better grandma. She worshiped my family, and we all worshiped her so much. I will miss her every day and do my best to be just like her, minus the HSN, QVC, rule of law, and guilt shopping addiction. There's no other words. Everyone has said so many beautiful things about my mom. And she will be missed every second of every day by all of us. I just want to thank you all for coming, telling me your funny stories, giving me extra hugs and kisses, and telling me what a great daughter I was, because she was my world. Mommy, I am going to miss you so much, but I will take such good care of Daddy. You never have to worry. You're just the best. You're just just the best. Thank you.
The Torah this week actually ends the book of Genesis. This is the last Torah portion in the book of Genesis. It's called Vayechi, which means and he lived, or they lived. And it is the end of the story of Joseph and his brothers. I'm not going to quiz you on the text right now, but if you do know Joseph and his brothers, the story, they did not get along very well. And yet it's not what the story is about. It's really about how the Israelites in Egypt sort of come together and how everything sort of gets fixed and how everything sort of comes together and how this incredible love fest actually happens at the end of the book and how it sets up the Jewish people moving into the next book. We're not even Jewish yet, we're still the Israelites. And it's actually coincidentally the spot where Jacob dies in this week's Torah portion and Joseph dies in this week's Torah portion. And so it's through their death, though, that we learn in Vayechi, and they shall live. The interesting thing is that they die, is that in their life they set up a legacy for us, and that is how we enter next week's book, the whole next week, the whole next section of the Torah. And so I didn't have the honor of knowing Toby like many of you had the connection that you had to her. But just by getting to know the family and getting to hear the stories and seeing all of you here this morning, it's clear the legacy that she made for all of you. It's clear. It's clear the ideals. It's clear the love and support and the pathway that she paved for all of you. Because you all laughed at the right times, you all cried at the right times, because you all know the story. It's as if she was guiding you on this story as you've been going on in your lives. And those of you who entered new into the story were sucked in automatically and pulled in also. And she helped you become part of this legacy as well. And so it's clear that if I could think of one word that defines her, I would say a connector, because that's what she seemed to do. She seemed and she sought to connect. And she seemed like you heard people anyone was an important person to her, not just a random person who she was talking to. Everyone seemed important because that was her job in life, I think, was to be a connector. And so, in this Jewish tradition, we believe that each person is born with a spark of divine light within their soul. And we hope that in this moment, this afternoon, this divine spirit will be with all of you as we make this painful transition to life without Toby. She made a difference to so many, especially to her family, Stephen, Russell, Michelle, Hillary, Matt, Juliet, Jack, and Stella, Katie and Connor, Jeff and Agnes, Dawn, Bobby, Marissa, John. You said Bobby to call you. Robbie. It's close. You said Robert, you call him a nickname. I feel like I should call you Bobby. I feel like from now on I'm calling you Bobby. That's how it's going to go. That's what you said. You want the nickname. So I said Robert. You said no. I don't know. It's not my fault. Marissa, John, Parker, Dylan, Roy, and Karen. We'll talk about it after. Toby was born on, as you heard, the holiest day of the Jewish year, December 25th. Just kidding. And she was born where all Jews are born, Brooklyn. She attended Mills College, where she studied education. And during her senior year of school, she and Stephen were married while she was in school. When they met, they had an 18-hour epic date, got engaged shortly after, and were married 6 months later. Is that right? There was a confusion on the timing from our conversation. Are we good? Are we good at 6 months? Yeah, I got 6 months. All right. We didn't discuss that part at our conversation, but that's also good to know. Thank you. All right. Phew. I knew I loved you guys. This is good. The sense that they felt almost instantly was clearly the right feeling because they were married for 65 years. As you might have heard, she liked the color red. She wore the red clothes, had the red car, the red hair at some point, but she was so much more than simply the color red. She was, as you also heard, a bold person who was defined by her altruism, by her kindness, by her positivity. She saw life through rose-colored glasses, finding the bright side in almost every moment. She had a big heart. She was truly unselfish and was really interested in what you had to say, genuinely interested in what you had to say. She treasured the opportunity to listen. She was empathetic. She was patient. She was the type of person who stayed on the phone with you, even if you were uncomfortable with your surroundings, even if you were in a different state. She was devoted, loved by her friends, as clearly seen by this room. A friendship and a relationship with her was a genuine friendship and relationship with her, which is not easy to find these days. She gave her time and her energy to the people that she cared the most, and that was truly her family. She loved her friends. She loved all the people who surrounded her. She loved her friends at the polo club. She loved dressing up with all the glamorous clothes that we talked about. But truly and mostly, she adored all of you, her family. She never put herself first. And this was noticeable when it came to her kids, to her grandkids, and mostly to the great-grandkids. There is a beautiful teaching in Jewish text that begs the question, who is rich? At first glance, this question might conjure up images of gold and wealth and lavish materials, special shiny things, or even fame. But the Jewish question, who is rich, really, according to the text, has one answer. The answer to the question, who is rich, is one who is happy with their lot. This text shows us that our riches come from realizing how good we have it, not about what we have. Toby lived this way. Her wealth was actually manifested in her love and appreciation for what she had, and that was a deep love for each and every one of you in this room. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may the memory of this extremely righteous woman be for a blessing. God, you give us loved ones, and you make them the strength of our life and the light of our eyes. But they depart, and they leave us bereft on a lonely way. But you, O God, are the living fountain from which all healing flows. And to you, God, the stricken look for comfort and the sorrow-laden for consolation. O God, we see life as through windows that open on eternity. We see that love endures and the soul endures, as you, O God, endure forever. We see that the years are more than grass that withers, more than flowers that fade. They are, and they weave for us a timeless pattern of a world that is the dwelling place of your love and your glory. Let's all take a few moments of silent reflection and thoughts. Together we stand. אל מלך עמים שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים התוארים כזוהר כי המזהירים את נשמת טובה דבורה בת הרברט שהלך לעולמה. בעל רחמים יסתיריה בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצור בצור חיים את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר אמן. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Toby Appel, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. As together we all say, Amen. Adonai Natan v'Adonai lakach, Yehishim Adonai mevorach. God gave, God has taken away. Blessed be the name of God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar etchem betzalmo וזן וחלחל אתכם בטובו והמית אתכם בדין ונטע בתוככם חיי עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני דיין האמת. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who forms us in the divine image, who nourishes and sustains us in your goodness, who causes all of us to die, and who implants immortal life within us. אתה גיבור לעולם, אדוני, רב להושיע, לכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. ברוך אתה אדוני, נוטה בתוכנו חיי עולם. We praise you, O God, who implants eternal life within us. Receive in mercy, O God, the soul of our departed Toby. Grant her everlasting peace, which you have prepared for us in the world to come, though no human eye has seen, nor ear has heard, nor mind has grasped it. still it is our sure inheritance and our everlasting portion. We continue with Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, B'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei, B'chayeichon uv'omeichon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, B'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei lekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma v'imru Amen. Shlomo Rabba min Shamaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May God grant peace to those who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us. I want to let you know that immediately following this service, family has invited everyone here to join for Aruchat Havra'ah, for the meal of consolation. You're invited once again immediately following the service to the St. Andrew's Country Club, to the Promenade Room. St. Andrew's Country Club, Promenade Room 17557, Claridge Oval West. Should be able to put that in your GPS if you need to. Once again, St. Andrew's Country Club, Promenade Room. Also want to let you know that Toby's name will be read here at Congregation B'nai Israel for the period of Shiva, the 7-day mourning period, and the period of Shloshim, the immediate 30-day mourning period here at Congregation B'nai Israel. Our service is going to conclude once the casket leaves this chapel. So once again, please allow us a pathway to come through, and after the casket leaves the space, that will officially conclude the service here at Congregation B'nai Israel. And once again, I know the